A very good morning to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I must say that for me, when I think of Viksit Bharat, this is the face of Viksit Bharat to me. You have a country and you have citizens where there is a girl child, there is education, there is inclusion, there is technology, and there are all those smiles which reflect the hope for the future. So to me, this is the face of Viksit Bharat. An extremely important pillar for a Viksit Bharat is the economy. The real economy, financial economy, the markets. And an important driver of all of that, of course, is the way in which our entire market ecosystem works and functions in a well-balanced and a very, very progressive way. The most important part or the role of the capital markets is capital formation. So it is a matter of great pride to us that in the global league tables, India, first of all, ranks number 1 on the total number of IPOs and issuances anywhere in the world, with a very, very significant, number there. It's almost one every trading session, almost. In terms of the amount of capital raised, in terms of stock exchanges, we are 5th. But if you look at us from a jurisdiction point of view, we are ranking number 3. The quantum of funds raised is still to catch up with the larger economies, that is the US and China. But if you look at the growth rate, look at the 49% growth rate, compounded growth rate over the last 5 years. There is nobody equaling our growth rate there in any significant manner. So this is a matter of great pride for us that we are part of this ecosystem, which really has allowed us to put our stamp on the global stage. One of the things that at SEBI we are very conscious about is that the focus we need to bring to clearing applications for capital raise should be brought to a minimum. We've been tracking this for about 11 or 12 quarters. And as you can see, for us, the important thing is not that there is pendency. In fact, pendency is good because it means that there is more and more activity in the market. But what we track like a hawk is the aging. So you can see that starting from March of 2022 to July, which was day before yesterday, end of July, what is the way in which we are working to bring the aging of applications down? And I had mentioned this the last time I spoke at this forum, that unlike the classical way in which a government system measures the time taken, which is normally computed from the date of receipt of complete information, right? And I'd mentioned then, I remember a lot of people laughed. I'd said that, it's very easy for a government officer to reset his or her clock, because when you're running out of time, you simply ask one more question. It doesn't matter what that question is. You simply ask a question and you get to reset your clock and say, I haven't received complete information. So in SEBI, we don't actually allow that. This data is from date of first application. So the whole process of streamlining this approval process so that we are able to facilitate faster capital raise, particularly when the markets are doing so well, it is very important for the economy, for corporates to be able to raise money at a time when markets are conducive. So really, the greens and the yellows you're seeing in the July are where we are comfortable, because from date of first application, including all the interaction with the company and the merchant bankers, is where a bulk of our applications are. Anything exceeding 3 months, and we have 8 of those, is largely on account of either we don't have, or the company doesn't have regulatory approvals yet in place, or that there is a judicial intervention, or that there is a significant non-compliance with regulations in the past, for instance, deemed public issue kind of violations in the past, which is resulting in those applications going beyond the 3-month number. What we have done, because it is important for us that troublesome applications do not block the entire system, so we have introduced a mechanism of return of documents. Now, this is something which, interestingly, I was very amused to read in some newspaper that some market participant commented that, SEBI can return a document even if, the requirement of the document is in active voice, but it is in passive voice, and passive voice is active voice. I was quite amused to read that, because in actual fact, the reason why documents are returned is the following. You can see here that where the observation letters have been issued, the number of 65 there, the documents returned 16. Imagine we could have approved 16 more documents, okay, or withdrawn, so another 20. So almost 30% more we could have approved, but what came in the way? What came in the way was that a director of the merchant banker was allotted shares in the company 2.5 months before the document filing. So he's directly conflicted, right? This is not active and passive voice of the document. This is because a director of the applicant company is already under investigation by SEBI for fraud in a previous IPO. This is not active and passive voice of the document. This is because the document has internal inconsistencies. Ek jagah number kuch aur diya hai, same number in another place is completely different. So even that much due diligence has not happened in a document where you have internal inconsistencies. You have documents where after days of reading the document, you can't figure out what is the company going to use the money for. Okay, this is not active voice and passive voice. We have large number of documents which are just incomplete. So the whole issue for us is we worry about that the applicants who are actually extremely diligent, who put up extremely good quality documents, and there are a large number of those, unfortunately get stuck in the queue behind the ones which have all of these complications. And we believe that it is not right, because we as a regulator are duty bound to process documents on a first come, first serve basis, right? We cannot show preference for anybody. So the only mechanism we had which we could exercise was to say, if this is all because you are not able to move the document forward, problem is not in our processing. We will return the document to you so that we unclutter the path, and very good applicants who are waiting behind are brought in front and cleared as soon as possible. So it is exactly to facilitate faster processing of high quality documents that we are being constrained to return documents which have all of these fundamental issues. And I assure you, we never return a document for active or passive voice of the document. Sunil mentioned about the Rag and the Bandish. I completely agree with him. And I think that the beauty of innovation often lies in the Bandish. It's not that you're going to invent a new Rag from somewhere. So we are extremely supportive of that. The only little bit of a problem we face sometimes is that what is presented as a Bandish, actually wo Rag hi badal rahe. So they want to present it as one Rag, lekin wo Bandish laake wo pura Rag hi badal dal rahe, which of course is something that we are very watchful about. But one of the innovations that you are going to see very soon, we've already taken it to our advisory committee, and I'm told that it got a very, very positive response, is a new innovation brought forward by the SEBI team, which is a combo product of a rights issue and a preferential allotment. Now, what this is going to achieve is something quite transformational. As I say, get the best of both worlds. So you get the best of a rights issue, you get the best of a preferential allotment. What does this mean? It means that, first of all, the entire end-to-end process can be completed in 23 days, as compared to even a preferential allotment, which the industry loves because of the speed, takes 42 days. So this innovation is actually going to almost halve the time that you need, even as compared to the fastest route available today. So this is really an expressway which we are facilitating. Now, how is this being facilitated? Is because we are saying that for an existing company that is going the right way to preferential allotment, there is really no need for SEBI to get in the way. Anyway, the company is there. It's a running company. It is making all disclosures. The only thing required is to say, what are you going to use this money for, which is hopefully just 2 pages. So there is no need for SEBI to come in the way at all. So we are eliminating the SEBI step. Then we are saying it's only a 2-page document saying why you're raising money, why do you need a merchant banker? So no compulsory merchant banker. So with all of these things, the whole objective is that we should now create this equivalent of Eastern Express Highway to be able to do fundraising in a way that is fast, cost-effective, and at the same time fully protects the investor, because it's the right way to a preferential allotment. So this combination product, which we will be taking to the board, PMAC has already looked at it? Okay, so we're going to bring out a consultation paper on this. So I think this is going to be a really interesting bandish, and we hope that you enjoy the variation. The second innovation, which is going to be coming soon to a cinema near you, is something that we are calling a demystified offer document. I'd just like to call out a comment that was made to me as I was walking from the main hotel over here. The CFO of a recently listed company said to me that when they started on the journey, they were really frightened, and everybody had told them that this is really a scary process of getting listed. And he says, having been through it, I don't think that is actually the case, right? So this is, I was delighted. I asked his permission to quote him. The point is this. I think the important phrase he used was, if you have nothing to hide, right? Is that what you said? If you have nothing to hide, it's really simple. Now, what is it we are trying to bring as an innovation to the market is something that we are calling a demystified IPO document, because we think too much mystique has been created around this thing called DRHP and, this whole process of getting listed. It actually isn't that complex. So what we are creating now, and always in consultation with industry, there's a working group that's working on it, is to create a template fill-in-the-blank IPO document which says, you fill in these blanks. If you have any complexity in filling it up, and there is an if, but, actually, and some complexity like that, there is a separate column there in which you articulate that complexity. Right? Now, with this, we believe that the document will be precise. There won't be a lot of unnecessary angrezi all over the place. It will be meaningful because it says, here are the 50 things which are necessary for an investor to make a decision, and that's what it is. And any variation or bandish to the rag is explained separately. So it's like saying, I know this is the standard. Now anything which is slightly different, I have an ability to look at it. So first of all, it will smoothen the processing time in SEBI itself. We are hoping that we will be able to bring down the approval time even lower than where we have today. And at the same time, it will demystify the entire process of filing and going through a listing process. So we hope that this new demystified filing document will make life a lot easier for all the young companies waiting to list. Amongst the companies that have already recently listed, it's been an area of concern for them, and we've had a lot of discussion and learning as a part of approving those IPO applications in terms of the KPIs that we require loss-making companies to disclose in their document. Given that there was this concern and angst about it, we have now gone to the doctor with this. And that doctor, of course, is the Industry Standards Forum. So, I must acknowledge that this joint forum of FICCI, CII and ASSOCHAM, which was initially spearheaded by FICCI, so really many, many thanks that the entire startup of the forum was really thanks to FICCI. And of course, we have what is in SEBI referred to as the Sherpa of the forum is Mr. Sunil Sanghai. So he has no official designation, but he's the Sherpa. And the Sherpa is extremely important in getting us to the summit. So we have now referred this matter of KPIs to the Industry Standard Forum. And we have shared what are our concerns. And the industry has shared what are their concerns. And we believe that a very good win-win situation is going to come out and emerge from this very, very soon. I believe Mr. Mohandas Pai has said just another month and we should be there. So this is again something that through mutual discussion, mutual respect, mutual trust, we believe that there are solutions out there which are possible, so long as we ensure that we speak to each other in an environment of trust and in an environment where we are aligned with the larger objective of investor protection. Why are we so confident that this will work? Because, as has been mentioned earlier, the Industry Standards Forum has really worked for us. And we had started it on a pilot basis, and we recently took it to our board, the SEBI board, and gave them the structure that we are now going to be formalizing. So again, this will go into public domain very soon. We've taken that framework and we are again consulting with the Standards Forum to say, give us feedback whether you think that this framework works or not. So we will very soon be making this an integral part of the regulatory architecture, and the pilot status will move to something which is more formalized because we believe that it really works. It's worked amazingly well on the ESG norms. We now are expecting a submitted, about to come. All closed. I think the I's are being dotted and the T's are being crossed, and Mr. Mukundan has been really, really amazing in driving that whole initiative. So making it easier in terms of disclosure under BRSR. As we were discussing, under LODR, the disclosure norms under Section 30, signed, sealed, delivered, we're going to be taking it to our next board, September board, in order to get our approvals for that. So hopefully a lot of the debate, discussion around ongoing disclosures by listed companies should be hugely simplified through this process. The rumor verification that was talked about was the first major success, something that comes in the media. Is it a fact? Is it fake? Today the companies are regularly reporting, and of course the standards have now come into being. So again, making life a lot easier for listed companies. Apart from listed companies, the entire market ecosystem also has a large number of regulated entities, right? The intermediaries. So what we have been trying to do again is to ensure that the registrations of these are speeded up so they can get going with their business as soon as possible. You saw that one is the pendency was a bit low, there was not that much activity. As you can see, just in the last 1 month, we have got 118 applications for new registrations. So the entire industry is becoming so vibrant, and so much of, we hope, job creation is happening on the back of all of this. And we are working very hard to ensure that this is something which is again kept well under control. The last 4 that you're seeing there, the blue and the gray, is largely on account of the, I think the ESG rating providers, because it was a totally new concept, and therefore the applications itself, when they came, were incomplete, but we accepted them because there was a deadline for their submission. So it's going to take time because the applications right now are actually incomplete, with our blessings. So the whole idea is that we should ensure that people who are coming into the industry, who are wanting to be a part of this ecosystem and create jobs in this ecosystem, are facilitated to get going with their business as soon as possible. Not only at the time of entry into the ecosystem. We have been very cognizant that the entire life cycle of somebody who comes under the purview of SEBI, their life should be made easier right through their life cycle. And in order to do that, we had set up 16 working groups because we have very large number of stakeholders, right? You have the exchanges and the clearing corps depositories on one side, you have the brokers and DPs, you have the listed companies, you have the asset management companies, you have the alternates. We have a whole lot of different stakeholders, the FPIs. So we had 16 working groups set up for ease of doing business. Out of the 339 recommendations received, the total accepted number are 66. So 67% have been accepted. They are in various stages of implementation. 59 already implemented, September board of SEBI 126, and to be taken up maybe perhaps in the subsequent December board. So 2/3 already accepted. Of the rest, some are under process. They're still, we're trying to figure out what exactly we can do with them. And even out of the 16% that have not been accepted, you're seeing the big number is coming from debt and hybrids, because almost over a third of those 43 actually are not in our jurisdiction. So actually we should be in this slide actually removing them, because we have no jurisdiction over them. They come under the jurisdiction of either some government department or another regulator. So that number also, if you see it, would actually come down. So this is where we are, and we track this very, very carefully. So the idea is that right through the life of the entity who comes under our jurisdiction, there should be ease of doing business, and we should ensure that we are accountable for what we are doing. And wherever we are not accepting, there is a specific reason that we articulate as to why we are not accepting something that the industry has requested. And this is our transparency to say that this is our open report card. This is what we will show and disclose, just as we ask for transparency from the rest of the industry. This was actually meant to be in lighter vein, that, while we try and make your life a lot easier right through your life, in case there are violations, we are trying to make settlement also easier. So when we do catch you doing bad things, and we allege violations, we want to make sure that it's just easier for you to come. We have a calculator sitting on our website. You fill in the blanks and you know how much is your settlement amount. And so even the settlement amount, we want to make your life a bit easier in concluding that. When we talk about the Industry Standards Forum, I would like to highlight that the first actual Industry Standards Forum that was a success was the one with the mutual funds, which was really through AMFI. That is what inspired us to set it up for the listed companies. And we subsequently set up a large number of other industry standard fora as well. And the amazing success, if I look at the brokers, the three large broking associations came together, Kamlesh Bhai is smiling, came together, and I can't tell you with what passion, with what maturity, and with what, balance. The forum has sifted through over 100 suggestions on bringing the standards, and there has been, I think, almost 24 which are already, recommended by them. A large number of those, I think more than 50% or 60% are implemented, and the balance are under various stages of active consideration. But I think what I would like to point out is every Saturday, senior people from the industry, every Saturday they would meet for 2 to 3 hours to have discussions, and the following Monday they would have discussions with the exchanges and clearing corps, and the following Wednesday they would come and talk to us, and item after item and such sensible suggestions I cannot tell you. I mean, it was like we used to look at it and say, अरे ये पहले हमको feedback आ जाता तो हम पहले ही कर देते. I mean, they were just so sensible. Okay, so I would really say that to us, this process of the Industry Standards Forum across the spectrum has been such a learning experience for us, and we are so delighted with the way it's working, and which is why we have now taken it to our board to make it a formal part of our regulatory architecture. And therefore, when I look at Markets 2.0, Viksit Bharat 2.0, Regulator 2.0, what is it that you should expect from us? I think the first and most important theme that will dominate is we want to think with you, for you, and together. That is the way in which that thought process will really manifest in new ideas, new products. We have a goal internally, part of our KRAs, is the developmental role that was being mentioned earlier. So whether it is creating new institutions, you will very soon see something called the Performance Validation Agency. NSE has done some brilliant work. I was just gobsmacked when I saw the work that they have done. Performance Validation Agency, so that any person coming into the market who wants to make a claim about performance, whether it is an algo provider, whether it is a investment advisor, whether it is a research analyst, in future the PMS and the mutual funds today have their own audited version, but just brilliant use of technology and therefore ability to scale and therefore to offer that service at an extremely low cost. All of this was just an amazing piece of delivery. So very soon you'll see a new institution in the market called Performance Validation Agency. We're working with some more market participants on something called Benchmarking Agency. We are delighted with the work. I cannot tell you the quality of work leveraging technology. We are starting in the REITs and hybrid space, which will allow investors to really compare across REITs and separately across InvITs, to be able to compare performance and to simplify and demystify investment in hybrids. It's just brilliant work. So creating these new institutions, we already had last year, Honorable Finance Minister inaugurated the backstop facility for mutual funds. We have the Limited Purpose Clearing Corporation for the corporate bond repo market. I'm delighted that from zero, we didn't have a repo market, right, in corporate bonds. It just did not exist. And today we hit anywhere between 15 to 20,000 crores every month. Now this is the creation of an institution, right? So creation of new institutions, creation of new asset classes. Many of you have seen our paper on the new asset class, which sits somewhere in between a mutual fund and a PMS. New products. I talked about this combo product for the capital market today, which is the right way to preferential allotment. All of this innovation is really possible because of the fact that we co-create with industry. This is a theme that we will continue. Version 2.0 will only strengthen the spirit of co-creation so that we have innovation. Like I promised in the very first time that I came here, SEBI is not wedded to anything. There is no dogma. There is only data. And you have seen, I have been personally questioned on, but 3 years ago you said this and now you're saying this. I'm saying yes, because there is no dogma. Because when the data changes, we change our mind. So we are really committed that there will be no dogma. We are open for discussion if the data supports it. Lastly, I would say that the theme of technology, which is underlying the entire country today, will continue to drive SEBI. And I would urge that all the market participants adopt RegTech, because we are rapidly adopting SupTech, right? A lot of the supervision we now do, and it's not just market surveillance, it's inspection and all of that is now using technology. So it needs to be that if you have to be proactive and know what's happening in your setup before we get to know, right? We show up once a quarter, once a year, and with technology, we know what's happening in your place. If you don't have technology, you will be surprised by what we dig up, right? So we have often had this rather humorous conversation where we go to somebody and say, do you know aapke yahan ye chal raha hai? And the senior people don't know it because they've not put those systems in place. But I think the important thing now is SupTech is already here. So RegTech needs to get here very, very quickly. So just like everyone invests in technology to serve the customer, it is our wish and our hope that they will rapidly adopt technology for RegTech so that, what is it? It's purposive. It's not just for the sake of adopting technology, but so that compliance becomes like a soft hum in the background which just happens, and the bandwidth and the intellect of our people and the entrepreneurial spirit of people is really released to do productive, value-adding work in their organizations and in the economy. Compliance should just hum in the background. And for that, what is essential is the rules have to be known and they have to be technology enabled. And that is what we are seeking to do. So I'm looking forward to, Anish, that the RegTech solution that FICCI has come up with, there's been a lot of progress on it. So sometime soon, I'm hoping that you will tell me that 80% of your members have now deployed it. So in summary, what can you expect from the regulator is this, that we will expect the ecosystem to deploy technology more and more so that quality, including risk management, improves, efficiency improves, speed improves, and cost comes down. Why is it important that this cost comes down? Because finally, we want inclusion and we want a Viksit Bharat.
बिस्तक आपके लिए लाया है प्रीमियम मेंबरशिप प्रोग्राम, जहां आपको मिलेंगे कई सारे फायदे, जिनमें मार्केट न्यूज़लेटर, लाइव चैट पर आपके सवालों के सबसे पहले जवाब, मार्केट आउटलुक, वीकेंड पर मार्केट स्कैन, एंकर्स के साथ चैट और भी बहुत कुछ। इस प्रीमियम सब्सक्रिप्शन में 3 तरह के प्लान्स हैं, सिल्वर, गोल्ड और प्लैटिनम, जिनकी शुरुआत मात्र 159 रुपए महीने से होती है। इससे जुड़ना भी बेहद आसान है। बिस्तक के YouTube चैनल पर जाएं, ज्वाइन बटन पर क्लिक करें और अपना प्लान सिलेक्ट करें। बस बन गए आप हमारे प्रीमियम मेंबर।